Welcome to the Dropping Gems con Muchos Colores podcast. I am your host, Areli Lagunas. This is an audio community where we own and share our stories as trailblazer moms, crafting a unique and meaningful work lifestyle, leading with passion, breaking barriers, and chasing bold dreams on our own terms. Celebrating our Latina motherhood voices to bring you genuine insights of the highs, the lows, and in-betweens of working moms from a first-gen Latina lens. We don't have to travel this journey alone. Let's get started. Hi, welcome back. The podcast is back after a break, and we're kicking off things with someone incredibly special. My first official coach in 2021, powerhouse leader Luz Canino-Baker, returns to the show. She's no stranger to our community, and I was thrilled when Luz reached out to me again. I had the incredible opportunity to be her student through the Arch Leadership Program, which played a major role in shaping the initiatives that I've taken on to this day. In fact, Luz was one of the individuals that provided feedback when launching the podcast, something that I'm forever grateful for. Luz Canino-Baker is a seasoned business leader with a 28-year career in banking. After 28 years climbing the corporate ladder in a male-dominated industry, Luz used her experience to build Latinas on the Plaza, non-for-profit dedicated to mentoring women of color so that they can rise faster and stronger in corporate spaces. Luz has a passion for seeing everyone perform at their potential. She's a certified Myers-Briggs Insights Discovery and Emotional Intelligence Self-Assessment Program. She is also a certified coach by the International Coaching Federation. Her first book, Design Your Life Plan, was published in the winter of 2013, and she's an author in today's Inspire Latina book series. We know that the work that she does is exceptional and much needed in our communities. And the reason because of that is because if you are a Latina, a woman, and a mom, the odds are often stacked against you. Only 1 in 4 C-suite leaders are women, and just 1 in 20 are women of color. Moms can lose up to 40% of their lifetime earnings due to the motherhood penalty. Women lose on average $16,000 per year after having a child. This gap grows with each additional child. And 42% of working moms report that caregiving has negatively impacted their career growth. And on top of that, right, Latinas still earn only 54 cents for every dollar paid to white non-Hispanic men. The barriers are real, but also our power, our resilience, and potential. And we are so grateful for leaders like Luz, who show us resilience, leadership, and how we still can rise, especially when we have mentors, coaches, and community who see us. So tune in for the wisdom, the real talk, and a reminder that your story isn't over because the odds are against you. It's truly just the beginning. Welcome to today's episode of the podcast where we are celebrating Women's History Month with our incredible guest, Luz, and she is the founder and president of Latinas on the Plaza. Luz has been on the podcast before, and I'm really excited and grateful that she's back this year, and especially during this month. Luz has dedicated her life to empowering and developing Latina leaders through a variety of transformative programs. Her work in leadership development, particularly for women of color, has made a profound impact on many individuals, including myself. Luz was my first coach in 2021, and I was part of her Archer leadership program. And really, she was that push that we all often need just to start and take action. And through this program and leadership program, it's designed for professional women of color and empowering women to excel in leadership and tailor to our unique needs and experiences. So I'm really excited to bring Luz back to our podcast and share a little bit about her journey, her mission, and any updates that she wants to share with us. So let's dive in. Luz, welcome again to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be back.
Yes, and it's such a great month to be back on the podcast, even for myself after I took some time off for recording. So, we double welcome you to the podcast and tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, what you want to share with our community.
Last year, we did a lot of workshops. We were trying to find a new audience because we've been around for the last 13 years and a lot of people have changed, right? We have women who started out as single and now they're moms with kids, so their life is a bit more complicated. Um, so last year, over the summer, we did a workshop once a month, and we actually brought in about 60 new women into our organization through those events. So we wanted to start this year off similar, not so much actual workshops. We have some workshops, but we wanted to include some fun events. So we introduced a calendar of events that we are having. We've been having one event a month since the beginning of January, and we're going all the way through June 22nd. So all the details regarding our events are available at latinasontheplaza.org. But it includes some events like we just had Latinas on the Green, where we invited women who are interested in golfing to go to the Game of Irons and really swing some clubs to prepare if they're really thinking about golfing. Um, and then we're actually going to be introducing golf to our little girls. So in our Little Arrows program, we're going to put a lot of emphasis on inviting the mothers and the daughters on May 10th to a mother-daughter golf clinic. But we've got some fun things like April 12th. We're going to be coloring eggs, not the typical Easter eggs that our kids do, but beautiful Ukrainian eggs. So there's some fun events and then some professional development like crushing your goals. We just did a vision box that we're going to actually do, and I'm going to talk a lot more about that today. So it's a combination of events. So if you're interested in any of them, go to latinasontheplaza.org and you'll see all of our events there. You have to register to attend.
We'll definitely also put it on the notes, the link to your website. So for those that are interested, they can start signing up. For those that haven't had an opportunity to listen to the podcast that we did last year, if you can share a little bit more about your mission and maybe share a moment that influenced your decision really to help others in achieving their best.
Yeah, so I'm an ex-banker. So I spent 28 years in banking. So I spent a lot of time in corporate America, especially in that particular industry, very male dominated. You see specks of Latinos and Latinas in the organization, but they're usually in the areas of operations. Thank goodness we're starting to see some of them in leadership positions. So I did that hard climb, and I'm going to tell you, it was a hard climb to become a vice president at that bank. And once I got there, I decided, I got to find a way of making this easier for Latinas in particular. And so I decided that once I left the bank and I went into the nonprofit world, that I could create something that would help Latinas to understand this world of professionalism, because I think you have to know how to navigate those waters in corporate America. It's not only the way you dress, but it's also the way you behave and just the skills that you need in order to climb that ladder. So I created Latinas on the Plaza to really help women to, first of all, grow much quicker. Like it took me a long time to get up to the top. And then also to negotiate salary, because it took me a long time to get a six-figure salary. And just to make it easier, like I don't, when I think about my granddaughters too, I don't want them to spend so many years like trying to figure this out. I want them to say, who's already figured it out? Let me latch on to that person and learn as much as I can and then show up in the workplace very powerfully as like it was like I always say like I fought my way and clawed my way to the top. And I don't want that to be the case for other women. I want the other women to know what does it take to get there? What do you need to know? How do you behave in the workplace? How do you negotiate salary? How do you ask for those titles that you deserve? Um, to really, especially me, like as an introvert, it was hard for me to learn all of this. But so now if I could just take someone through the things that I experienced, and then there are other women that I now know, and I bring them in and I share that in classroom settings or in mentoring or in masterminds and all the things that we do in Latinas in the Plaza. The idea is to really shorten the struggle that Latina women have in corporate America. And that's really my vision that one day, as I walk back into corporate America, I see Latinas in the boardrooms and I see Latina in the corner offices, because they weren't there. They weren't there and they're still not all there. And I want to change that landscape.
Yeah, and how did you keep that motivation or inspiration to keep going? Because I mean, we know the statistics, right? We know how many women are in leadership roles. It's still very low. And for me to see someone like you was such a big motivator, and kind of like giving me that reinforcement, like, hey, Luz did it, I can do it too. But for you who didn't see that type of modeling, how did you stay focused, during your journey?
So as you can tell by all my books in the back, I am a strength finder, even identified it. My number one strength is learning. So I have been reading volumes of books since I was a little girl. I love reading about successful people, successful organizations like that. I did as a kid. um, so I started to pay attention very early on as I was climbing the ladder at the bank that I was just as smart as they were. Like I was just as smart as the guys. Like they would say something, or some of the non-Latina women would say something, and I would be thinking, well, I knew that even before they said that. I started to have like confidence in my ability and confidence in the fact that I'm a learner and I know a lot of stuff. And I wanted to give back to the bank as well. They were paying me a nice salary. And in everything that I wanted to do, I wanted to be my best. So I just started to really like show up strong, like let go of some of the inhibitions I had as an introvert. Now it was scary. Like the first few times I had started to speak up in executive meetings, it was a little scary. But once I found out that I could say something and it wasn't something that was really stupid, it was an educated position I was putting on the table, and then I saw that people valued what I was saying, it kind of spurred me on to do it again and again and again. So I think it's really important to know yourself and to know your own potential. And sometimes people are pointing it out and you don't believe it. But once you start to believe it, then you're like, you know what, I'm just going to charge ahead and go after the path that I'm interested in doing and going after.
Yes, yes, so important. And definitely books are one way to learn. And then you, like you were mentioning, you gain confidence. And of course, I'm sure that you taking action gives you even more confidence. And, I know that you love reading books, but you also have your own books. Can you share a little bit more about that?
My very first book is Designing Your Life Plan. It says breaking your limiting routines to step into intentional living. This was written in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013. Um, so this book is really about looking at your life today and then defining what you want it to look like in 5 years. So when I first became a coach, we did a similar exercise. and it kind of changed my life. So I thought, you know what, I need to put that in writing. I need to help people to look at their lives because typically most people will look at their lives like in 1 year, right? They'll sit down and maybe they'll create a vision board in 1 year, right? So this is a book that you just don't sit down and read. This is a book that you have to read a chapter and then do the work because it's about looking at your life today, figuring out where you want it to be in 5 years. So I have you do some introspective activities before you actually break out your life into what I call domains and then define it. And that eventually, when I wrote this book, I talked about um, translating what you identify into a picture, which is a vision board. So now I changed that from a vision board to a vision box. But I do have another book. I am in the Today's Inspired Latina. I actually don't have any because I've given them all away. I am in version 1 of Today's Inspired Latinas, the series that Jacqueline Camacho Ruiz puts together. And I think they're all the way up to series 10. And they've created Today's Inspired Leaders and Entrepreneurs. So it's a whole series of books that you can find on Amazon. Today's Inspired Latina, book 1 is mine.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your book and, for our audience to learn more about you. I want to share with the audience that in addition to you being my coach back in 2021, my daughter, who is now 10 years old, is part of your Little Arrows program. And she looks forward to coming to your events, every time. And even though they meet once a month, it's something that she always looks forward to. So I just want to share a little bit about the Little Arrows program, which really is a initiative to help young girls embrace their unique strengths and prepare them for the future. And what I like about the program is that it helps them with their sense of self-worth and the skills that you need, right, to go through life, right? And it's something that I wish as a young girl I had exposure to that, because I was that timid little girl that didn't want to speak up, right? And I can see through my daughter, she has so much more confidence than I ever did at her age. And I love that. And I love the fact that there's programs like this sign, and not that many, right? Like I feel like yours is very unique, to help girls build that confidence and foster growth at such a young age.
Yeah, some of my arrows have been with me since they were 4, which I love that. So they've come back every year, and so now they're in 5th grade. Actually, one of them is in 6th grade. There's been like between 7 and 10 of them. It varies. I've lost a couple, but for the most part, I've been able to see these little girls from grow. Um, Not only in physical height and some of the changes in their bodies, which is really interesting. But just to see the confidence, how they show up and they speak up in the classroom that, when we get together. I never really planned to work with little girls. It was not on my radar. I'm a corporate girl, but during the Me Too movement, I thought, how can I help little girls to protect themselves? I was really just thinking about protecting little girls, right? And I started calling organizations, asking them if they had some material on like body safety for girls. And they were like, no, we have it for the parents. And I'm like, the problem is that the girls are getting abused when the parents are not around.
Yes.
So I had to really dig. I found like 1 or 2, and now there's a little bit more. Thank God. There's actually some good books now. And so my original thought was around creating a program to teach girls body safety, but then I thought, you know what, I need to really help them with confidence, to see themselves as smart, to see themselves as strong. So the program kind of evolved, and every year it was like, I'm just going to do it this year, and then the girls would say, can you do it again? I say, okay, we'll do it again. So it really evolved from now. Now we have kindergarten all the way through fifth grade.
Yes. And not sure if you heard me earlier, but I mentioned my daughter looks forward to seeing, coming to your events in even though it's once a month, it's something she looks forward to. And, I appreciate you creating this program, right? Where maybe in the beginning it wasn't the full picture you intended, but really it does help, young girls gain the confidence and I would even say resilience and skills, right, that they need to face, these adversities that can happen in life while growing up and just giving them, an understanding of their value and potential. Anything you haven't shared with the audience that you want to share?
There's one April 1st, which is crush your goals. And that's really, it's not about defining your goals because most people already know how to set goals. It's really about implementing your goals, executing your goals. And then we do have an April 12th event. That's more the Ukrainian egg coloring. That's kind of like a fun social event. But the other event that I'm excited about having is I'm calling it Design Your Future. It's kind of aligning with the book, Design Your Future Together, a vision box workshop for couples. And that's going to be May 8th at our office in Brookfield from 6 to 8:30 p.m. I in here, as I was telling you about the book, it's really an individual's journey. But when you are in a relationship, a committed relationship, you're basically doing life together. So a couple years back, instead of doing this by myself, I started doing it with my husband. And we would sit down and we would say, okay, let's talk about the financial component of our lives together, right? Let's talk about our role as parents together because we're a blended family. Let's talk about our extended family. Those are the different domains that we cover. So we're going to have a class for couples. It's not exclusive for couples, but um, if couples want to come and really start thinking about where they want their life to be in 5 years, we're going to have that again at our Brookfield office May 8th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. I always have something to eat for you guys to, eat while you design. So um, you have to register either at latinasontheplaza.org or that'll link you to the scan store. But I'm really excited about that because I think I'm a big believer in working together as a team, with your significant other. I can't be designing my life alone and then he's designing his own life. It's not going to work. So doing it together and then ultimately, instead of using vision boards now, we use vision boxes, which I like.
Yes.
So we're gonna translate that dream into a vision box. So it's gonna be a fun night.
And I think it will be the perfect event for me and my husband as we this year we turned 16 years in May. So right around that
Congratulations.
time.
Wow.
Married.
Wow.
Yes. So
Yeah, it was interesting. I kind of stumbled besides my husband and I doing it together.
yes.
I was at somebody's house and the husband kind of sat at the table, right?
Mhm.
And so he ended up providing such encouragement to the wife. Like I was like so amazed that he was like, you know what, you can do whatever you want to do, and I'm here to support you. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like amazing. We need to do this. I need to do more of this like a couple. So I'm really excited about it.
Yes, yes, I'm excited too. So I will definitely be signing up for that one. It'll be like a little anniversary date.
That's awesome. No, I actually want to acknowledge you as one of my former students, when I think about the legacy, as this organization has been around for 13 years, I just was at an event for Women's History Month, and I was on a panel, and it was put together by another one of our alumnus who is really, carving her space in the space of wealth and real estate. And I just felt like a proud mama. And then, here I am with you, and I see how you're growing in your entrepreneurship role and also in podcasting, and it just makes me proud, that I'm actually seeing the fruit of some of the work that I pour my heart into. So I want to acknowledge you for the work that you do and for your commitment to it.
You. Thank you. It's definitely, you are a leader and you've made a lot of transformations, as I mentioned, including myself. And I want to thank you, right, for not just only sharing your story, but being, taking your story and helping others, right, through your work and through your non-for-profits, because not that many people take those lessons and, take those experiences and do take action on that. So, I want to thank you personally, and I am really happy to be able to continue to have interactions with you, whether it's through me or my daughter or now even my husband, right? He's going to get involved. Thank you again for joining us on this episode. If you want to just give again one last time the information to where we can register to your events. And
Yeah, so if you go to latinasontheplaza.org, that's where everything is linked. Our YouTube is linked, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, everything is there. Our stand store is there, but I think on the homepage, we have our events listed. So it's very easy to sign up for this event. And then you can even look at our past newsletters to see all the work that we've been doing over the last 13 years.
thanks for listening to the Dropping Gems con Muchos Colores podcast. We have a new episode every month. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to leave a review and subscribe so you don't miss a beat. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.